Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Talking today about limited cards, Major League Soccer, all that good stuff. Are we going to get in? First things first, I'm still a little under the weather. And I didn't realize what I sounded like until I started speaking. And I sound like I'm a little under the weather. So I'm going to try to do my best today. But, you never know. Never know. Anyway, Toby, Stefan, and Johnny on the podium. Congratulations to you three. Thank you to everybody for coming in, particularly those who are hitting the like button. I feel like that's the way, and the poll for those in the live chat here is just that. Just hit the like button to check in. If you're somebody who doesn't necessarily like to participate in the live chat, which I kind of get, I guess, I feel like it's a good time. But for those of you who don't, just the like button to say, hey, I'm watching. It's always appreciated. Peptetta, what's up? Tom said would recommend buying Marcel Hartles. Seems to be quite profitable. Tom, GG's. Germ, what's up? Shrew, 1886. Thomas, Mucho, Musa and Lucho, or Devander, Danky and Devander. Oh, I like that. Anyway, Mike Basson, what's MLS? Ooh, Mike, come on. Daniel said nobody should be buying MLS cards. Let the prices drop due to no demand. Wait for me to buy everyone I want for cheap, and then everyone should go and buy. I like that. Thomas said, I just like how the 2 of 100s and the 2 of 1000s are going for more than the 1 ofs. That is something I'm going to get into in a little bit. I have a spreadsheet, and you guys know me. I don't love looking at spreadsheets on streams, but I have one, and we're going to look at it, and that'll be the MLS part of the conversation. Malky, what's up? Tuggy, love to see it. Red Panda, Ahmed, Dobbsy, and Miguel. Hola. Thank you for coming in. I think that's Portuguese. So this is limited time only. So I'm going to go through the limited cards that I played this past weekend. We'll get through that very quickly because I do want to hit on the MLS stuff because that's going to be part of the kind of the next step of this project. And the interesting thing that I've found about this kind of limited time only and trying to track this stuff is the way that I played it. It doesn't lend itself to a lot of movement week to week. And the card acquisition and kind of like strategy part of Sorare is my favorite part of it. And and what I did both in Challenger and in Contender kind of just don't lend itself to great content. And it's kind of weird since obviously that's the point of all of this. But well, I mean, the point is to win some money here, but obviously to make it entertaining for you. But I realized it thanks to some feedback that I got last week. And there's only so much you could be like, here are my lineups, and this is what they did. And like that kind of just gets repetitive. But there is sort of this repetitive part of Sorare that if you are somebody who relies on like a handful of cards or like a handful of collections and you kind of play those, there really isn't a lot of like week to week stuff. And unless you're going to go like buying collections all the time, and that really isn't my plan, particularly for the European stuff, it's kind of like here's just what I'm thinking. And that's what we're going to do, at least for the first part today. And then we'll get to the MLS stuff because I'm kind of grappling with am I going to play MLS? And I don't want to like ruin or, spoil it, but like, of course I am. Of course. How could you not play MLS? And I don't even like MLS. That's not true. It's not that I don't like it, but I'm not an MLS guy. I'm going to try something new also. That doesn't even really work. Oh, well. At least we tried. Actually, do we like it better up here? I feel like you see more to the screen here. Sorry, I'm just moving around. This is what happens. Anyway, so Challenger, I don't even remember if I went through the building lineups, but went with the Gank stack home against Circle Bruges of Mike Penders and Matt Smets, Jarny Stukers, however. And then joining them were my boy Haspelot and then Hans Van Aken. It felt like a really good lineup. Top 4%, I won $5, 421 points. Genk conceding was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So that lineup actually got promoted to Division 1. That was probably the more important thing about it. And I'm going to victory lap that because I believe it guarantees that I will be in Division 1 when they consolidate down to 3 divisions. Because if I remember correctly, and maybe I should look at this while we're here and not make the big mistake of just assuming, but it was my understanding that in limited division, the current divisions 1 and 2 would go to Division 1. And let's see here, game week recap. Here we go. So yeah, limited. Current Division 1 and 2 will merge into the new Division 1. And so this lineup will be in Division 1 for game week 54 when I play it again. I believe the new divisions go into effect in game week 56. That's 55, but it's 56 is the weekend. So even if I get relegated, like if I play it in Division 1 next weekend, game week 54 this weekend, and I get relegated, I'm still back because I'm going to be in Division 2. And if you see this lineup here, Kumquat finished top 50%. I won a 2-star box with the Utrecht defensive stack of Barkas, El Korani. Of course, they lost 1-0 at home to Almere City, of all places, of all teams. I don't believe El Awadi started. Is that right? Minutes played, 84. I guess it did. They were just terrible. And Kayembe. So the Genk guys didn't hit, but Jacob Briam, obviously, just perfect. And then I got relegated here. Which is really like getting relegated from Division 4, no less, feels like about as bad as you can get on Sorare. And so Genk conceded thrice to Mechelen, and Tsuyoshi Watanabe didn't even play. I thought I could just I didn't think Patrick Fluke here was probably not going to start, and he didn't. Mats Kohlert was fine, although they gave up. Heerenveen gave up 3 goals to 20, and then Tom Hay was terrible despite winning away to Utrecht. And it was so bad that, yeah, it got relegated to D5, which checking on the new division structure means I'll be in Division 3, the lowest division. So, yeah. Victor said the tactic becomes to play your strongest lineup in the D3s, which I get, but doing so sacrifices the upside of what you can win in Division 1 for this weekend, which, looking ahead here, let's see, Challenger Limited D1 is $1,000. I would rather try to compete for $1,000 than to try to get my Division 3 lineup into Division 2. And I realize you're like, oh, you should just, maybe try to prioritize one, but still be strong in the other. But as you see, I'm in 1, 2, and 5 now. So 1 and 2 will be in Division 1. And the Division 5 is just it's becoming its own road to glory. I'm gonna have to mute and sip a lot, just to warn you guys. So sorry, I was catching up on the chat here. People seem to be singing. Seriously. Anyway, so updated my spreadsheet here for Challenger, added the $5. I'm still not close. And obviously a lot of these are collection pieces, but I had this one, I don't even remember what this lineup was. I finished 4th in Division 3. And this is basically keeping me afloat to having any sort of returns this year, because I've had a lot of little $5 ones, but there is still quite an uphill battle when it comes to Challenger. On the contender side, where real men play, let's see here. I used a why is this game week 43? That's weird. Oh, because that was where I was looking back for the Yeah. So on the contender side, I am basically just sticking with my Necaxa and Tigres. I don't even want to call them collections. They're basically collection stacks, but won a 3-star box in Division 2, and I believe came just short of, yeah, I guess it wasn't that short. I was 384 was the line to get into Division 1. I was at 361. But again, this will be a Division 1 lineup next weekend because it's in Division 2. Necaxa won 3-2. Paradella, I basically will always play Paradella and Pallavicino together, and I have like multiple of their cards in different scarcities. And it seems like I always get the captain wrong. Paradella went off this week, meaning he had a very good game, not that he subbed off. And of course, I captained Pallavicino. Unsane, 65 points with conceding 2 is basically what he's capable of. 8 saves, all inside the box. Way to be, a little punch there. Jesus Angulo got an error led to goal, plus 20 AA, 21 AA, which is super frustrating. And then Branimir Hergota came back to reality and didn't do anything. And then I have a Division 3 lineup, which is promoted to D2, which will be D1 next week. Let's go. Well, not next week. Sorry, the week after. But being in D2 is big. Tigre stack, Nahuel Guzman, Javier Aquino, Gorriarán, and Brunetta. Just for the record, Paradella and Brunetta outscored James Rodriguez, and Gorriarán and Pallavicino had higher AA. But whatever. We don't need to keep going on that. And then I had this old Dominic Fitz card, which I've added to the spreadsheet, even though I bought this card a long time ago, but he absolutely smashed his face off. And so that's that. So going into next weekend, or this weekend, 54, I'll have 2 lineups in Division 2, and I basically just need to keep them there. And I'll be honest, I didn't even look to see who they're playing. Let's do this on Sorare and see what it looks like. I was going to go to the lineup builder on Sorare Data since that's where I build all of my lineups. But let's see what this looks like. I always do the discover because I just don't want to scroll as far as I have to. All right, 2 Division 2s. And again, it's basically just Tigres and Necaxa. Oh, Daniel Schmidt is back. That's right. He's at Grampus now. Interesting. Anyway, so we've got Unsane away to, is that America? Can I click on that? No. Does this give me who? Yeah, Club America, excuse me, which is not great. Not a great matchup. Tigres at home against Cruz Azul, which is better, I guess. So Guzman, I've been preferring Aquino over Angulo. And I will say that where this is Wednesday, February 12th, they have a CONCACAF Champions League game this, or I don't know if it's tonight or Thursday, but they have one during the midweek, which they should have their top team going. So there's that. So if I just play the Tigres guys, Brunetta and Gorriarán, and then we can play kind of, this is where I end up playing either Fitz. Cecinia's back. I don't even want to look. Cecinia's in, we captain. Which is just awesome. That's awesome. But anyway, that's what I'll probably play in D2. And then it's like, do I even play the Necaxa guys in D2 or because of that matchup? Now, let me go to where I am more comfortable here. What is their matchup this weekend? Contender in season. So let me just go to in season and limited. Yeah, they're big underdogs. Yeah, Cruz, like that's a bad one. And so I don't know if I'm going to, like, that seems unnecessary to play in D2 and risk moving down. And so Maybe you just play that one in D5. How do I even get to D5? Here we go. And play this one. Activate that team. And now we play Unsane. And probably, so I don't, the Necaxa defenders are so bad. And Dobbsy said play in Classic. I would rather, like, I see no upside in Classic. Anyway, so I play a Tigres defender because the Necaxa guys are so bad. And then here, now I can play either, let's see, Fitz against Austria, Rapid Vienna, excuse me. Hergota's against Elversberg, Elver something or other. And then Colidio, who's actually kind of back, but I think Fitz has just been good enough. So we play that in D5. Really the key data that we're missing from the lineup builder, like from Sorare's, is having any semblance of like what the matchup is. Like this is third versus fourth, but they're favored. And I guess ninth away to first is enough, but like this matchup theoretically, like I don't know the J League well enough. I would assume Kawasaki Frontale are favored against Nagoya Grampus, but like I don't actually know. And so that's why I have to just keep using the Sorare data lineup builder. Anyway, so from what did we do last week? Did I win anything? In season contender. Oh yeah, I won $7. So that's 7 more, which brought me. Why does that say just 2? That doesn't look like a formula. I'll just do it this way. I think this is the easiest way to do it. 19 rewards one. That's not right. Sorry, my mouse is being a little weird. All right. So Jesus Angulo is now, I believe, my most profitable card. Spent $4.38 on it, and he's been part of lineups that have won $132. Now, it's funny, he's a Tigres guy, but his biggest hit was actually as part of a Necaxa stack, which I just showed you is kind of like what I'm doing this upcoming weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. That's enough of the update. I'm not going to do my challenger lineups in front of you because I just don't feel like it. So we'll see. Toby said, why do you have a random Batterina? I believe I crafted that card from way back and I never sold it. I was going to play, actually, that card, I believe, when I won it, I was like, you know what? Let me just play U23, and then just never did. I bought Vincent Mueller, and yeah. That market activity percentage on the homepage is interesting. What's the market activity percentage? Or was that on Sorare data? This one? Who was that? Lairdinho. $232,000 in the last 24 hours? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so MLS. I've done 2 MLS shows already. One with Sean, PSU Fans 2, and Sorare Deke last week, just talking about the announcement. And after the announcement, we were kind of like, or, the announcement came like as we were on. And our initial response was like, it's just not that great. And I think Sean was probably focused a lot on the super rare side because he plays super rare a lot. But we were kind of like, well, the limited and rare is not bad. And based on kind of the early auctions that I've seen from yesterday when they started, people completely disagree that it's not bad and that they're actually the greatest fucking prize pool in the history of fantasy sports based on some of the prices I've seen. And apologies for swearing, but it felt warranted. So yesterday, and if you guys haven't seen it, there was a show that on this channel yesterday. It was me, Deke again, Harry Trades, and then Gator Guy 231. Keith joined us afterward, or a bit later. And we were saying that there seems to be like this gigantic disconnect between limited and rare. And we kind of recognized that before. Excuse me. So of there are enough people who only play limited that they don't even look at rare prices. And so we've seen a number of examples where some limited cards are actually going for more than the rare equivalent. And it just doesn't make sense when you think of it. Now, looking at like some random one-off cards is probably not the best way to like analyze the market, because like if you buy, some whatever the rare card is that's more than the limited, like building the collection around the limited is going to be cheaper just because of the other cards. And so what I what I was looking at, like from the standpoint of should I play MLS, is like what are the prices that things are going for, and do I think I can yield from those cards? Red Panda said this Patrick Schulte super rare went for 2,000. I don't know if that's dollars or pounds. My mind is exploding. Yeah, I would. That's crazy. So I think what I was going to do is look at the prices of limited cards and basically say, can I yield more than I have to pay for these cards? And I'm not convinced that the prices are at a point where I can do that. And I say that as someone who I believe can do well in MLS, not because I know the league that well, but because I basically speak to enough people who I think know the league really well and can help me. And obviously the beat the streak is available, or whatever, is that what it's called? No, beat the game hot streak, excuse me. And it it looks fun. It's as simple as that. Playing MLS is fun. I do play Contender, obviously, like we see this like with Tigres and Necaxa. However, those cards lose in-season utility in May, and I haven't looked at the J League or K League at all. What I do know is the prices for those look much more attractive than MLS. I can't decide if the prize pools when Europe ends will be good and will be worse than MLS. And so it's kind of just like it's a very weird thing to try to analyze, because obviously as we move on, the European cards in Contender will be slowly dropping out. But that doesn't necessarily mean the J League and K League cards are attractive right now. And I really don't know anything about those leagues. There are a handful of cards, but I saw that like Cecina before. And so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what we'll see in terms of that, but I feel like based on how I play and where I live and kind of the access to information I have, I'm more likely to play MLS in the summer than Contender. Excuse me. Sorry, this is like I'm starting to lose it. I took some sort of medicine before, and now it's like it's hitting, not in a good way. Um, anyway, so the what I did today, and again, I apologize to do that, is I put a spreadsheet together essentially looking at prices of limited cards and of the first 16-ish mints that have come out in the last 2 days. And so the prices are still just not at a point where I'm comfortable diving in. And I think the new XP rules almost benefit me a little bit in terms of wanting to wait. Now, granted, MLS doesn't start for another 10 days. And so maybe the prices dip enough over the next week or so where I do start to feel a little more comfortable with it. But I don't know, just tracking the prices is really interesting to me. And some of them just really don't make any sense. So um Anion said limited MLS classic cards seem so dirt cheap compared to in-season. I wonder if you can get away with playing classic and craft your in-season guys. I've said this before, and I still believe it, that if somebody new came into the game I would never tell them to play Classic. And MLS is kind of giving us like this new MLS competition is giving us the opportunity to basically like start new. And I don't see the benefit of playing Classic. I really don't. I think there's so many like elite Classic cards out there with high XP that like starting in Classic is just really hard. And you just win so much less. Like you win XP in season competitions. You have the threshold if you want, or the beat the game if you want to play that. Obviously, you're going to win cash, and so I mean somebody's got to win the MLS cards in the limited competitions. But I don't even think I could make a lineup of MLS cards for limited comps. I have a Messi and a Rusnak. Those are the only like limited cards I can even think of that I have from MLS. Yeah, that's it. Is a Rusnak jersey mint, by the way. I know. Big head jersey mint. But it's just not, I don't see the benefit of like now buying a classic goalie defender and another player and hoping to win when they're like there are no collections here at all. Although I guess you can make the argument I'm like wasting Messi. So maybe I will. Who knows? Or I just play Messi in season. Dobbsy said winning cash is better, but I would say winning cards is a bit more fun, I guess. It's the randomness of it. Yeah, the beat the gam. Mike, that is a great one. Yeah, winning cards is more fun until you act like the idea of winning cards is more fun. Winning good cards is fun. Winning good cards is really hard and usually just doesn't happen. Toby said just play both of them in season. I would Rusnak is not like I don't consider Rusnak to be so great that I would play that classic and then not get the possibility of a threshold or whatever they're calling it. Skate Press said, I think that waiting a few more days is actually promising as there's still a slight chance someone gets hurt in these preseason games and transfer potentials. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not like planning. There's no like I need to get them in by this time, but I just like it's not something I'm looking to do. Anyway, this is the spreadsheet I put together. Apologies again for making a spreadsheet and showing it to you on camera. But it basically was tracking all of the first auctions. And one thing I find very strange is that Sorare don't sell the 8 of 1,000 limited for many players. And I really don't know why. Anyway. So Gabriel Peck was actually the most expensive. This is just a list. It's not a random list, but it's a list I put together of a few players, honestly, that I'm interested in buying. So the list for those of you who are listening: Messi, Peck, Puig. I'm not going to buy Puig, but I was curious what his prices were. Evander, Kalina, Kai Wagner, Lucio Acosta, excuse me, now known as Luciano Acosta, now known again as Luciano. Stefan Fry, Carlos Heel, Ryan Gall, Denny Bowanga, Marcel Hartl, Luca Oriano, Diego Rossi, Henny Mukhtar, Alexi Miranchuk, Jordi Alba, Brad Guzan, Christian Benteke, Wilfred Zaha, Dylan Chambos, I know it's Shambo, Zinc, Bamba, and Almiron. Mike said is number 8 the first instant buy. It's not, because we've seen some instant buys. And so what I thought was actually quite interesting was that Peck, like I said, the Peck 1 of 1,000. And I remember there was like a Galaxy collector battle or something. So he went really high. But Peck went from $529, basically $530 for the 1 of, to $217 for the 2 of, $161. Now, they don't necessarily sell all of these in order. So I want to like preface that, like sometimes there are auctions that the instant buys are ahead of them or the other way around. And so just because they're minted, just because the serial numbers are there, that doesn't mean that they're minted that way. So you can't necessarily say like, oh, the Brad Guzan 3 of 1,000 was better than the 6 of 1,000 because the 6 might have actually been sold first. That's kind of a dramatic example, but that's kind of what happens sometimes. So I'm looking at these prices And some of them are pretty wild. Like Jordi Alba, like I get it. $114 for the one of, and the cheapest he's gone right now is what is that? 85 for the two of. And the ones that are in bold here are instant buys. And so he's actually had 3 instant buys, $123, $138, $140. They obviously those are all more than the one ofs. Like some of the one ofs based on the subsequent prices actually look pretty good, but it's just kind of noise, I think. Like Diego Rossi is $58 for the one of. The two was 47, but then somebody paid 63 for the 12 of 1,000. These are all the ones that say auction here were actually currently being auctioned, and some of them finished. So I guess we could look that up. So like the Messi 6 of 1,000. Let's see where that one went. If it actually finished. Here it is, 222.89. Which I guess is kind of in line with the others. This 3 of 1,000. There are a couple that you can tell were like, I don't know if they were overnight or people just were sleeping a little. Or, well, I guess people could still be sleeping, but like Ryan Gauld, one of was 61. The next one was 44, and then 48, and then they kind of sneak back up. I don't know. It's all timing, I guess, with the auctions. I will say one thing I noticed with a lot of these is that there are not many on the market, on the secondary market. So let's see what we had here. Messi was like this Messi, which is now on the market for 226. This was a reward, and there was 14 was an instant buy. Is that still available? Oh, 13 is now. So 14 must have sold. 274.13. Wow. So that's an instant buy. And now 13 is the instant buy. So 274 is actually the 14 of 1,000 is the second most expensive Messi that sold so far. And the most expensive was the one of. Victor said, I think the cost of those cards is absolutely insane. And I'm going to wait a bit, see what happens in a month or so. I don't really disagree. This is where we get to update this spreadsheet manually together. So the PEC auction was for the 6. Here it is, 154.58, which seems reasonable. And what's the instant buy now? There's a wait, 7. So 7 is being auctioned right now as well. And the instant buy is number 13, which we still have. Yeah, 206, which as we see is kind of high for PEC based on other prices other than this 9 of, which somebody, well, I guess it's not that high. But like these are basically, I'm not going to update all of these as we talk unless somebody wants a specific one. But I'm struggling to see a clear path to returning on these prices. And that concerns me for now, because that's really the only thing. Major NFT said, I'm done buying basically because Satonio is inflating prices on tier 3 and 4 players. It does seem like Satonio is bidding on a lot, which like is up there. You know, they can do that. Check all the prize pools. So in season, like this is really what the concern is here. So, and actually, let me go back to the beat this. How much is the streak for? Is it $2 for the first one, or is it $5? $3. I was wrong. So theoretically, my guess is if you finish in the top 200 in Division 1, and obviously part of the reason to get the cards now is making sure that you can get into Division 1 for the first, like after the division battle. Now the division battle is next, like game week 56, a free-for-all. Is it worth trying to get 5 in-season cards for that, or just 4? And I'll play my Messi and we'll see what happens. um, because obviously getting into Division One is the key, like as soon as possible. Server said, just wait a few more days. We've seen this before and we'll see it again. In a week or so, these prices will be 40% of current sales. I'm more confident that we'll see a drop for limited. Um, so we'll see. Philly Dilly said the streak is really bad. You have to complete the streak twice to pay off a Messi in season versus Messi Classic, assuming Messi is the most expensive card. So, like, yes. However, my guess is if you're hitting 450 on the streak to win $100, you're probably also winning something here. Like I don't know. You have to consider that, like, if you're in the top 200 for $5, like you're probably getting more than 380 points. So it's probably like an $8 like reward right away. I mean, it's going to take some time, but just looking at like the minimum you can win, like if it's $8 at a time, and that's $8 every other game week, because like if your streak, you score 383, then the next week you score 385, like you win nothing, and then you go back to 380, and so to like end up having to pay off a $90 Carlos Heel, $70 Luca Oriano, or $116 Luca Oriano, or $140 Jordi Alba. It just feels like it's a big, like you're going to need a podium, and we can't all win those. And frankly, it's not even a podium; it's first place. Like finishing third in Division One is $150. Like that's not going to, like, it obviously makes a big dent. Like that's helpful, but man, yeah, Krups, you said this, $8 every week is like $140 for the whole season. And Red Panda said, how much essence are people getting off the cards? Is that worth anything in this discussion? I don't think so. Genuinely. Tuggy said you also don't need to use Messi. I mean, sure, but like if you're trying to win here and climb here, having the best player in the league probably helps, right? Major NFT said, frankly, and this might be hearsay, but I'm playing for fun, not seeing any ROI here. But isn't that part of the fun? Like, isn't the fun that you're beating everyone else, that you're playing this game to win? Like, that's why we play games, right? To win. And it's like fun, like participating in that. But like the goal is to win. It's not like you lose fun pretty quickly when you kind of invest your time and resources and then don't win. So I'm not going to worry about profit. It's not so much worrying about it, but like that's how you know that if you're good at the game. Like not many people love to play games over and over that they're not good at. And hopefully they get better. And I'm not saying like you have to like focus on the profit, but like that's how we know we're doing well in the game. And I promise that winning is more fun than not winning. Philly Dilly said, also, Laird, I like this spreadsheet stream. You should keep this going 24 hours for the next few days. If I was feeling well enough, I would consider that. But I'm not even sure I'm going to make it an hour today. So we'll see. Philly Dilly said, this is courtesy of someone else, Gator maybe, but Classic is for passion projects. In season is for ROI. Oh, that's fun. Red Panda said, if I wanted to have fun and not lose money, couldn't I just set up a fantasy league using SO5 scoring with my closest 7 to 11 friends? You have to podium multiple times to yield your lineup cost as it is. Yeah, I mean, I think what we're kind of not ignoring, but sorry, my phone keeps buzzing. What part of the thing that we're ignoring is that you get 3 lineups. Now, granted, if you're buying like 3 Messi, like if you're spending $600 for 3 Messis, those 3 lineups are going to have to return a lot. And I guess the way that I'm thinking about it is, and I really haven't ever thought of Sorare this way, but I've spent more time really trying to figure out like what a realistic return is on all of this. And like finishing in the top 20 or top 50 of a contest that I expect to have thousands of entries is daunting. And that's thousand of entries with people who are willing to buy Messi and the entire, Miami collection in order to get to 5%. And maybe I'm a little less confident in my lineup building abilities to think like, "Oh, of course I can win first." Like anyone can win first. And the nice thing about MLS is that because of the league parity, like anything can happen in any week. So you could do it, but I think you just got to be really smart about it. And I'm just not sure these early prices feel smart to me. Now I could be wrong. And I haven't looked at all about the people who are actually buying these cards. Like if the same person is the one who bought, you know, Evander for $83 and Diego Rossi for 57 and Miranchuk for 50, like, and you're getting just kind of the right pieces, like that's great. But I do wonder how many people are like genuinely making smart decisions as opposed to just like buying cards and like hope to win. Um, I don't know. Joe said, I was surprised by Messi's price. A year ago, Messi cost €100 more than this year. I thought that since MLS is an isolated competition, Messi would cost much more. See, I actually disagree. Like Messi should cost more in Challenger because the prizes are bigger. What was Messi last year? 250, or so the one of last year was 641, and this year it's 505. The 10, that's a jersey, man. 2 was 218, and what did I say 2 was here? 2 cents. It's actually very close. Like, so what does that say to us when the prices are actually quite similar, but the rewards maybe are worse? I don't know. Server said you could be wrong. That's diplomatic. These people are just not buying cards with reasonable ROI calculations. Maybe they don't care. Who knows? But these aren't logical purchases ROI wise. Now, I will say we can't forget that like you can use these cards in classic competitions next year. It's not like the utility is just evaporates. But man, that's going to be hard to like. It's just going to be hard. Major NFT said, I just can't understand people paying anything over $2 for Breza. Backup in Montreal, plays maybe one game and can't stop anything. I don't even know who that is. What's he going for? $2. I mean, this seems fine. You got to boost your 396. I mean, is there really that big of a difference between $2 and $2.10? 262. Like, I don't think it's that bad to boost your Caden Clark. Skate Press says Martin Ojeda's rare number 1 sold at 0.0377, and his number 2 is already at 0.0396 with time left. I love people who still quote in ETH. I have no idea how much money that is. But this is a limited show, sir. Now, Ojeda, Major NFT said he's a 10-cent card. I mean, obviously he's not. Like, if people are willing to pay it. I feel a sneeze coming on. They list this by serial number. Anyway, Ojeda went for 27. And somebody bought 6 hours ago for 38. And the auction currently, 2 minutes left, is at 34. That's pretty good. Philly Dilly said 20-cent card going for $20. Math checks out. Which, wait. Thomas said people realizing Ojeda's position changed. What is a 20? What's the 10-cent card going for $20? That's Breza. Toby said backup keepers are never 10 cents no matter how bad they are. I think that's because we can't actually list them for 10 cents. But I agree. I feel like that's a poor example, but that's just me. Maybe I should have added Ojeda to our spreadsheet. But sort of the other thing I was doing, I wonder if should we make it a little colorful here? Where's my, hold on. Oh, wait, I forgot do some conditional formatting. Figure out where the cheapest cards are. There we go. Peter Stoyanov's rolling over in his desk. Anyway, so the Chicago guys don't seem to be all that popular, although you can see. So I added these guys, Zink, Bamba, and Almiron in the bottom, and Zaha too, I guess, because they already have in-season cards from their European club. Zink's a little different because his are the Bruges games, Bruges cards, are midfielder cards, and the Chicago Fire one is a forward card, which is a real bummer to somebody like me who had his forward rare card. But anyway, but it does seem like though people aren't paying for those cards as much as the kind of the known quantity entities of MLS. D1872 said, "Is the market credits not playing parts in all this?" I did see one card. Now, I'll preface one thing about this spreadsheet is that these are all initial acquisition prices. So there were some cards, like I think this Messi, one of the rewards had sold, but I didn't want to include it as like one of the prices, even though it's literally traded. So I mean, I could, but there was one card that I noticed that is listed for like 10% less than it was bought for. And I do wonder if market credits played into that. But frankly, like, I don't think every card has market credits. And like this Messi one or any of the Messi ones, like people would need like a lot of market credits. And I kind of feel like people who have a significant amount of market credits might not be buying limited cards, but I could be wrong. Looking at the colors here, Ryan Gauld seems like he's just being overlooked, and maybe it's because Vancouver have so many away games to start the season. But and I'm kind of like comparing them, and Hartle too. And the Evanders, like you can see when his move became official, as his the gap on Evander 83.55, and now it's up to 154, like almost double now. People just love him in Cincinnati. But I don't know. It's just Vancouver doesn't start with many away games, but there's some, right? It's Montreal that have a ton, right? Portland. Oh, you're right. But yeah, I guess I mixed it up with Montreal, the other Canadian clubs. Lairdinho said card 3 seems to be the best value for most players. I do think 3 was like an overnight excuse me, like auction, I guess. Yeah, Montreal starts with 7 or 8 away. You're right. And so yeah, like I don't know. I don't know what to make of all of this other than I'm not prepared to pay these prices. And Thomas said number 3 was ending around 9 or 12 p.m. Eastern time. Is that right? 12 p.m. Eastern time? That's surprising to me. I feel like that would have been a perfectly good time to buy cards for everybody. But yeah, like I don't know. Oh, sorry, 12 a.m. Okay, so 12 a.m. Eastern is 6 a.m. Excuse me, in France, 5 a.m. in the UK. So yeah, that seems like a dead time for auctions, surely. Um, and like even with Gald, like 44, 48, 49, and then he's over 60s now, and 67 for an instant buy. I guess he doesn't wear number 10. Um, I do wonder why they like what they have against eights, but I mean, it is what it is. Um, so the Messi, that was one that was just happening, right? They should need to change this to 25. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, and now 24 is on auction. 25 is at 255 with 90 minutes left. 255 is higher than everything but the one and the two, and these two instant buys. Is that instant buy now 300? Is that what that said? 316. Wow. That's so much money. Remember when I said I wasn't going to update this like during the stream? Here we are. The Ricky Pooch one is wild to me. The number of people who are willing to pay this much for Ricky Pooch. Instant buy is now 112. That's number 14 here, which means someone bought the 9. $99.58. Instant buy, right? Yep. Man, that's so much money for a card that like you're just never gonna get enough utility out of. And the 7, did that finish? Here's 7, 97.46. Evander. Sorry for those who are just listening to this, probably on Spotify. Like it's just not. So the Evander auction is also the 7. They've got 25 up here. Oh, this is still going. 16 minutes left, and it's at 110. Which, based on the others, like it probably goes higher. I mean, the last instant buy was 154. My God. Major NFT said, "Happy I got Sirwa at a reasonable price last night. Main strategy: don't sleep." I haven't really looked at Sirwa, but let's look. $72, but this one is 44. Is that one yours? Who was that? Major NFT? Oh, it was. That's a great price. Of course, the one of goes for 40. Like, what is this? That's the one of, I assume, right? Yeah. One of for 46. Instant buy at 70. Man, like I don't understand. I don't understand. The limited market is just so it's just so interesting to me for so many reasons. And part of like a big part of it is that people look at it completely separated from the rest of the platform, which I struggle to do because I don't only play limited. And not to say that if rares were close to limited prices, people would like just go up to rare, because kind of the peripheral things are too expensive to do. Like building a rare collection costs a lot more than building a limited collection. Like um you can get the filler pieces for like $1 for limited, and it's usually minimum of like $5 for rare. But there does just seem to be this like blindness to the rest of the platform. And I'm struggling to see how people with these prices are going to win enough in an MLS only competition. like, I don't think I could win enough with these prices. And some of like Carlos Heel, I thought was looking way too cheap. Like, I don't think Carlos Heel is 2/3 the player that Evander is on Sorare, which is all that matters to me. But I mean, these are like high prices. 154 for Evander. Is actually his. Did we decide if that 7? That's the one that is still going, right? Yeah. We got 12 on there, right? Yeah. And then, jeez. FOMO rules again. I guess it is. Like, I get wanting to, like, pay extra so that you're prepared for the first game week, and I'm in no position to tell someone that they, like, should wait on things. If there's one thing am that I struggle with on Sorare, it's that if I come up with an idea, I wanna execute it immediately because I fear that somebody else has the same idea and they'll beat me to it, and nobody wants to build a Ren rare collection. I didn't have to rush into that one. And for limiteds, it's like the cards will always be there. There's so many cards. Like 1,000 per player is just so many that getting like the first advantage, I'm even from an XP perspective, like because we no longer have passive XP, like these cards are not going to be like none of these cards are going to get XP until the first game week. So if I buy on the same day that the competition starts, like that morning, I FOMO in, like I'm going to end up with similar XP to people who bought today, yesterday. Have we heard anything about what is replacing Rivals? Cody asked. I have not heard anything. Tom said, we all know a lot of people have to lose for some of us to win. We're seeing the kind of people that lose ROI wise. Maybe. I do think that I keep seeing different people, most of whom are kind of like Sorare veterans, like they've been around a while, who keep talking about these prices like they'll never earn that back, or excuse me, they'll never like be able to sell for it remotely close to what they're buying them for. And it's like if you're still thinking that way, like there's no way you're going to be successful on this platform moving forward. If you're thinking about resale value on cards, you are just so far behind the people who are getting good at this game, and they're going to be the ones winning the cash prizes while you keep looking at your card values wondering why they're so low and how you get out. Surface said, will Sorare data update actual lineups again this game week? Changes made in the last hour yesterday aren't being reflected in Sorare data results. Surface, it's like a gigantic technical-ish problem. And to answer, to be completely honest with your question, I don't know if I think we are, but I don't know for sure. And I literally just like wiped my nose on a stream. That's how I know I need to stop this. This is terrible. Sorry about that, guys. I should have just taken myself off the screen for a second and pretend I got thrown off, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to keep like looking at these MLS prices just to see like where, if they get to a place where I want to pay. And I still don't know like what I haven't even gotten to the point where it's like, oh, what cards do I actually want? Because I think wherever I go, I'll end up building collections just to ensure that I have like the 5% bonus and all that. And but like where the prices are now, I'm just like, I just can't justify this when like the reason why is because of the success that I've had in other competitions. And I don't even say other competitions, it's Contender. That looking at, that Jesus Angulo card that I bought for $4, Cecina for 15. Now that was late in the season. I don't even know what Cecina costs now. And like in season Cecina, $40. Like this is like arguably one of the best players in Contender, particularly Contender in season. And let's see what like. Oh wait, I do one on sale. like instant buy for $48. And that's easily one of the cheapest cards in the on this list, you know? Now, granted, like he's competing against a significantly bigger player pool, but the prizes, I guess, what we need to do is compare Contender without Europe to MLS, and obviously there's no threshold, but there's also still allowed to use one classic card. Major NFC said Liga MX was a bit of a cheat code, being one of the last in season. So it's not really a cheat code though. It just followed the same European schedule. Like we think that, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they have like extra utility, but they don't. It's genuinely not anything extra. Like if you just look at like 2024 cards, like Nahuel Guzman was July 26th. Like it's following the exact same path as it's like any Austrian Bundesliga card or Croatian league. Like you're not getting any. There's no extra, so there's not a cheat. It's just that the cards happen to be the old design, even though they came out the exact same time as the new cards. Like I'm significantly more confident in my ability to return on cards that cost this much. Now, granted, I bought like that. When did I buy Nahuel Guzman? Like I also bought much later. In October, it's actually not even that late. It's the equivalent of buying, MLS cards in April and May, but I just don't see MLS cards being this low in April or May. Victor said the XP is kind of cheaty, of course. The percentage on them over new in-season cards. No, it's not. They literally launched the exact same time. Like Nahuel Guzman, first card was July 26th or whatever it was, right? And Dominic Fitz's new, like in-season limited was July 17th. In fact, that Fitz card should have more XP. Like the League MX cards have less XP than these European cards. Like there's nothing cheat code about them other than that they actually win. So it's kind of like that's how I'm comparing the two. And like the Challenger thing has been a disaster. And what was the cost of this? 300-ish, 334. Like I'm fairly confident that I won't make that money back. I still got plenty of time. I've got time, and I'll be in. Am I going to be in Division 1 for Challenger? I don't even remember. I was victory lapping the Contender. Oh yeah, I'll have two in Division 1. So I'll have a chance for that. Like as long as I have one or two lineups in Division 1, which these two will be. Like it, hopefully this one is. It will allow me to make this money back. Like that's all you can really ask for. Like that's all I'm willing to ask for. In a situation where I'm entering Division 1, can I make my money back by finishing first? Now, again, finishing first is not easy. Finishing first in Division 1 is not easy, but I have finished first before, not in Division 1. But like $1,000. I only have to finish third. 400 only. And all of this is paid back. So I'm like, great. And in Contender, I'm already there. I'm fairly certain. Let's see. This was $128. 55, 90, 120, 127, 132. I've broken even on Contender with 4 months left. And that actually includes like some cards that I can't even use anymore. Like these 2024 River Plate cards are classic cards now. But I'm really struggling to see me having the same success at these MLS prices. And so I'll play because MLS is fun and trying to find like the right pieces within a single league. I actually don't even play Premier League, Bundesliga, or La Liga because I don't like single league stuff. But part of that is because a few 1 to 3 teams just dominate those leagues, whereas MLS is not like that. Excuse me, but it's there's enough parity in MLS and so many teams that I'm willing to do it. Like I said, challenger situation shows what happens when discipline goes out the window. I don't know if it's that bad, Mike. Like, I think what I did still makes sense. Like, I think it's a viable strategy. It just hasn't hit yet. Oh, Lasso starts tomorrow. Is that news, Toby, or are we just thinking that? That's actually a bummer because his L15 is atrocious. Major MT said, I guess what I meant was Liga MX lets you stay in season longer than being the last. Not being that you got more time. If time is right, you get more time with league overlaps. I still don't you're still not right. Like the Liga MX in season-ness of their cards went from July to May, which is exactly the same as all the other European leagues that play like the fall to spring schedule. There's no extra in-season time for Liga MX. They just had to pretend it was extra because they had the old card designs and people were like, "Oh, those are old cards." And it's like, "Well, they're not. They're actually like yeah." That's the other thing. Like I wonder if the Major MT said, I have to look at other leagues in Contender. Felt like I was playing Liga MX while others were off. So like their break is very short and they start in like early July, but it's July to May. And one of the things that I keep bringing up is like I wonder if they won't get like this current season designed cards, like the ones that are out now, because like theoretically they'll launch like these cards are the cards that launched in 2023, like yeah, 2023, right? I'll just keep using Fitz as the example. So like these cards, yeah, 2020 these cards came out in July 2023 and these came out in July 2024. And so that was just Sorare's decision. So I'm not sure if Liga MX will get these cards. Like they really shouldn't. They should just it's the European schedule. Whatever the 2025-26 cards are, that's what Liga MX should have next, which means they kind of like miss out on this design. It's just one of fun wrinkles of Sorare. Do single league competitions become the future of the game? Asks Lairdinho. I don't know. I really don't. I don't love it, honestly. Like that's why I don't play. Playing Bundesliga without a Bayern stack just feels like you're up against it every week. And I know they don't win every week. You get your Amiri Mainz week or Bayer Leverkusen, but like, and La Liga is just so boring. And I know everybody who has Real Madrid cards have been complaining all year, but like people with Barcelona cards seem to be perfectly content. And to be honest, I barely follow the Prem these days, but I guess Man City's not as great. Liverpool is probably the one who's won, but like, I don't know. I don't, I just, the reason I like bigger competitions is just the availability of players that I can use instead of the ones that everybody else has. And that's actually a topic I was going to go into on another show. I won't do it now, but just I'm concerned that we're losing one of the like aspects that people love about Sorare by pushing them into these single league comps, and they're like, just focus on that. Like, don't worry about it. And you never have to even know who Cecilia is. And I think we can all agree All of us knowing who Cecina is makes us better people and human beings as a whole. Anyway, that's all I can do today. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do a slightly different time because Quinny's joining Black and I for a Midtjylland Real Sociedad watch along, where we'll probably just have the stats up on the screen and we'll just, chit chat about whatever we want. So, yeah. Philly Dilly said the issue with this with same cards, Sorare still hasn't found a way for tier 4 and tier 5 to be valuable. I mean, I was just told that this backup from Montreal should be worth 10 cents, and instead he's going for $3. So it feels like they have actually figured that out. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny, who again will be here tomorrow. And good luck with all your midweek stuff, all your late swaps. And once you've finished all of those, remember to go out.